As the seller of a property, there are a lot of little negotiations that you have to go through once you get an offer. One of the most stressful for every seller that I've ever met is dealing with a buyer's request for repairs. Today, let's talk about a couple of strategies you can use to make that a little less stressful and a lot more productive for getting you from contract to closed. I'm SandiWarner with Warner Realty Group. Today we're going to talk about how you handle the buyer's request for repairs. This will not be an issue for you if the person on the other side of your deal has waived inspections. But for most home sellers, once you get to contract, your buyer, the person on the other side of the contract who's going to buy your house, has 10 days to perform an inspection and make some requests from you. The document that you should get, or at least that your agent should get and should communicate with you about, is called a buyer's request for repairs. And this is a list from the buyer, usually, or at least it should have some descriptions from the inspection report to help you understand what the buyer's asking. In a lot of cases, that's going to feel like a very long list. You might get, we just did one and we had, I think, 20 line items on it. And that for a seller can feel like, oh my gosh, this buyer is being mean to me and they're stressing me out and I have to make all these decisions. What I recommend that you do as the seller is break it down. Go through your report, ask for any clarifications. Go through your requests from the buyer. Ask them for any clarifications. If they've got a line item in there, number one, and you don't even know what that is, get your agent to go back to them, figure out where it is in the house, what it is they're talking about, and then really make sure you've read the request and you understand what it is they're asking for. And the reason I say that is the buyer may have been told by the home inspector that there are, let's use the electrical box for example, that there are double tapped breakers and that maybe the electrical box doesn't come up on a list that says you can use mini breakers in it, or that there's signs of arcing in it. Those are all things that come up on inspection reports. Break that down, and you may find that really it's just a matter of having an electrician come in and look at the electrical panel and any sub panels, which sounds a lot more manageable than the 57 line items, which is just the number of words it takes to describe those individual problems. Once you've broken your repair request down into items, decide what it is you will go back and do. I think a mistake sometimes that a lot of sellers will do is they start making those repairs instead of thinking about this repair request period as it's just the time period where you're going to decide what you're going to do. It can get very confusing both for you and your agent and for the buyer if you panic and immediately start calling all your licensed contractors. You call your plumber and you call your electrician and you call your pool guy, and they're in starting to make repairs, but you haven't really responded to the buyer. My best piece of advice for you is go through the request for repairs. Agree to inspect, agree to repair, or say we will have this item reviewed and take the action of the licensed vendor. That will let you turn around and create the buyer's the repair addendum, which is just the agreement of what you're going to do. I would caution you against actually going ahead and starting to do those repairs. I know a lot of people do that. We're actually negotiating a deal right now where I'm representing the buyer, and we just experienced a period of 5 days of silence from the seller. And the seller was actually trying to respond to all of the items, but to the buyer, because there was no communication, it felt like they were being ignored. And communication is key, right, to getting us from contract to close. We want to communicate. So when you get your repair request, just think about, just hammer it out with your agent. What are you going to do? Get those down on paper, which is the repair addendum. And remember, those items can include, hey, we're going to call the insurance, we're going to call the electrician. We will follow the electrician's advised repairs. That's enough. And then get that back so you guys have that signed repair addendum. I hope that's very helpful to you, and I hope that it all works out great and that you go from contract to close with as little stress as possible. I'm Sandi Warner with Warner Realty Group. If there's anything we can do to help you, we're at 401-236-8685. Have a great day.